Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today's video is going to be a little bit different, and I decided to show you my other hobby is that I paint D&D miniatures. I got into this hobby when I started playing D&D with my friends here at work, and we're playing Descent into Avarice, the D&D adventure. And what we have for you today is Lucille. He's a pit fiend from that adventure, and I wanted to keep his color tones pretty much true to what he is in the adventure, because I didn't want to, because he's an actual character, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to change any colors up or whatever, so I want to keep him true. And we starting out here on the back painting with a xanthier blue. It's more of a greenish tone to it. It's kind of hard to tell because this is an 8-hour project I was doing, so it took 2 sessions. So in the first session I had my brightness a little too high on the camera, so it's kind of hard to make out that it's like a bluish green, but I didn't end up liking it because it was like too green. So I end up leaving that for like the bony parts of the wing, and decided to go with a different base coat for his wings, and his rest of his body is a ghostly blue. It's more of a sky blue, baby blue, and it felt more in line with his color and how he was portrayed in the adventure. Very early on in the project, I realized I shouldn't have put this character together first, because when I first got the character, it came in like 11 or 12 pieces, kind of ridiculous amount that you have to glue together. And once I started painting, I realized that, man, I should really painted this character before I put it together, because yeah, it's hard to reach spots, and I don't know, it was super hard getting these tough spots. So continue painting right here. Now I'm doing the hands, keeping the base color coat, the ghostly blue, like I said. What's also a good tip and trade, a good thing to keep in mind. So like when you're painting miniatures like this, you always want to do like the bottom piece first, at least in my experiences. Like I'm doing a scan right now, and this guy has like some chains and stuff around the outer way. So it's better just to get the big areas first. I can always go back over the chains and do touch up and corrections later. Here we are getting towards the end of the first session. I've been doing this project for like going on 4 hours almost right now. So now I'm working on the armor, and I was struggling to figure out how I wanted to do the armor, because I didn't really have any like metallics that gave it that faded look that I was doing. So I decided to go ahead and start with a base color Abyssal Black, which is a basic matte black. And that's going to be the primary coat for the underneath. And I didn't really have a clear idea to day 2 what I wanted to do with it. Here we are back on day 2, and I feel like I got the camera lighting pretty well now. You can actually see what I'm doing. Like I said, right now we just started up doing some touch-ups like I was talking about earlier. And going back to the wings, like I said before, I didn't like the xanthier blue because it had a little bit more greenish to it. And I kept looking at his character and what he looks like. His bony parts of the wing was a little bit more whiter than it was like green. So I decided to go over with a matte white, straight lawful white. And it kind of looks like I'm messing up, but my idea was I was just going to mix lawful white and ghostly blue and mix them together and kind of blend the 2 colors and blend it throughout the wing, that one color. There we are. I went like 50-50 on Lawful White and Ghostly Blue. And I kind of doing in between like a straight brushing and a dry brushing. I just wanted to kind of blend in so it's not so like apparent the brush strokes and everything. So I just kind of wanted to blend it in together. And that's what I'm doing here. Moving on to his weapon now, his scepter or staff or whatever weapon it is. In his photo or his image is not as dark as his armor is, so I went with a straight material silver, and then all over is the base coat. Kind of weird, right? It's weird to say, but I'm using it as the base coat because we have to go in and add all the other little textures afterwards. Before we go into the details with his weapon and including the color and everything, I decided to take the material silver that I used for his weapon and do a nice dry brush on his armor to get that effect that he had in his image. And it turned out really well. It made it look like he's been using it, has been in like battle. And it's probably one of the most proudest part of this piece that I've done. We're doing the same thing to his chains around his belly. We're doing super light, super dry brushing. You want to make sure there's not too much on that brush because less corrections you have to do later for touch-ups. All right, getting back to his weapon and his details, I'm doing a little mix of a rust monster and fluorescent orange. Probably butchering that name, but it's basically two types of oranges that I kind of mix together to get that base coat for underneath. So get that deep reds, or I don't know, like lava looking aspect I was trying to go for. And I kept it super runny so I can get it into the nice crevices and make sure there's not a lot of mess ups. Now coming back in over top, what I just did was some angelic yellow for highlights to get that real like flames. And there's a little guy on the like little gremlin thingy coming out. He's also yellow, so I want to make sure I highlight him. And just giving that little pop for, you know, it's like the real lava coming out of his weapon. Now here we are finishing up the weapon with a nice shadow wash. It's a nice dark ink wash that gets down in crevices and gives you that illusion of the light hitting it and making the colors just pop and come together. Now I feel like I made a mistake, and after this I went and did the same thing with over a whole body, but it created a lot of rework for me. After I did the shadow wash on the whole body, the wings just looked like out of place, so I decided to do a flesh wash on it, which I really have any washes that really match with the color tones. So I ended up going back over it with more of the mixture of the ghostly blue and lawful white and kind of blend them back in together. This is like the part I really didn't like, and I ended up breaking the wing off. I had to super glue it in the middle of the paint job. And there we have it, Lucille, the pit fiend for descendant avarice. He's ready to hit the battlefield and cause chaos to your heroes. For his base, I just used what I had left over for his lava and his weapon, and then I did a nice ink wash for that too, to kind of blend it in together. That's pretty much all I did for the base. This project was a massive one, and it took a lot longer than I had planned on taking. But overall, I'm overall satisfied with it. The part I'm not really satisfied with is the wings, obviously, because I I didn't really have a good wash for them and trying to bring them in. But like I said, the biggest regret was I should have painted it before I put together. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. And I'll have more of these coming to you soon as I get better at these. Please let me know what I can do to help out. So till next time, peace.
Standing at the crossroads between a light